For this lesson, you will be needing a roll. It can be either a rolled towel or a rolled blanket. And bring it under your knees. Take a few moments to breathe here and sense the weight of your body on the floor. The back of your knees on the roll. And the way your heels touch the ground. And you will notice that each heel touches in a different place. And the toes of each foot point in another direction. Choose a foot to begin with, whichever you like, and very gently start rolling your heel left and right, as if your heel was a ball now rolling on the floor. Keep the movement slow and gentle and easy, so there is no effort, no strain involved. And as your heel is rolling, feel what happens to the back of your knee. Can you feel the back of your knee rolling on the blanket, on the roll? And now could you roll the back of your knee on the blanket? So it might look as the same movement, but it feels very different. To be rolling the heel and to be rolling the knee. So now the back of your heel rolls because you are rolling your knee on the blanket. And bring your attention to your hip. Can you feel your hip joint moving? The head of the femur rolling in the hip joint. And could you now start turning your hip? So now you're gently rolling your hip joint. And because your hip joint is turning, you can feel your knee rolling and your heel rolling. But you begin the movement, you control the movement from your hip now, just as long as it's soft and easy. And feel how much space is there in your hip for you to turn without feeling stretching of muscles or straining. Keeping all those powerful muscles around your hip joint soft and quiet. And let the movement go and take a breath. You can let your attention go for a few moments and then bring your attention back into your body and sense how your heels touch the ground. And where are your toes pointing to now? And could you do the same thing with the other foot? So you're gently rolling your heel. The movement is in the heel. Your toes are soft. How does this movement feel? compared to the other side. Feel what happens to your knee as you roll your heel. And then could you start the movement from your knee? So now you're thinking of rolling the back of your knee on the blanket, and you allow the heel to follow the movement. Sense the movement. Compare it to the previous side. Feel what happens in your heel, in the back of your knee, and in your hip joint now. Your knee turns, your hip joint and heel follows. And then change again. Start turning from your hip. So now your attention and the movement begins in your hip joint. And you feel your thigh following. You feel the back of your knee and your heel following the movement. Soft and small. Feeling how much space is there in the hip joint for you to move with ease. Feel what happens to the back of your pelvis. And let it go, have a rest. Take a breathe. Take a breath. Feel where your heels touch the floor, where your knees point, where your toes point. How does your hips feel now? And then start turning your heels so that your toes point in and then point out. So you're turning now both heels. And then for a few moves, think of turning both knees. So you're turning your knees and your heels follow. It looks similar. It feels very different. And allow your hip joints to turn. And as they do, can you feel what happens to the shape of your pelvis and to the way your pelvis contacts the floor and to the way your lower back contacts the floor? Very nice. And let it go, have a rest. Take a moment to breathe. Come up to standing. And take a walk. Sensing how your heels, your knees, and your hips feel now.